believe it or not, in print journalism, in newspapers, the photo spread is still very used, very utilized. Why would you want to do a photo spread? Why would you put a photo spread together? A couple of different reasons. Covering a major event, exploring a topic or trend, profiling a personality, telling a story, or simply just displaying objects or places like the Paris photo spread in the New York Times. Text, the body text in a photo spread is going to be secondary. It's going to be secondary. Mix it up. Mix up the shot of the photo, wide shot, medium shot, close-up shots. You want to mix those up. That adds contrast to the layout, just like mixing up the sizes. You want to have some photos vertical orientation, some photos horizontal orientation, so you're going to have contrast with size and direction if you do that. Better just use less than just drop the photos. Don't use them because you have them, because you want quantity. We're talking about quality here over quantity. Position the photos carefully. We're going to talk about this very, very meticulous positioning of photos and very consistent so that the gutters between the photos are the same widths all the way around, vertical and horizontal. And make one photo dominant. Pay attention to the fulcrum and the optical center. We'll talk about optical center when we're finished with this, but we make one photo dominant. This is like, don't do this, okay? Two photos are competing for dominance, first of all, and those two photos are kind of the same shot. Okay, headline guidelines. Write the headline first and let it be your guide. Place the headline first and let it be your guide. This is a magazine spread, and there's a lot of text in here. They had to work in a lot of text. It's a lot more text intensive than what you'll be working on. See that it's broken up with subheads, and you see some kind of sidebars, some lists, and so forth. So it's broken up. It's not a lot of long narrative gray text. This is a great example of a variety of photos, a variety of sizes. We have clearly the dominant photo, a clear dominant photo. Look, we have different shapes. We have vertical and horizontal. We have different shots, close-up shots, wide shots, overall shots that set the scene, that give us context for where we are. Every photo needs its own cut line. You may be tempted to do one of those cut lines where you go clockwise from top left or whatever. Readers are really annoyed by that. They don't want to have to work to follow your photos. Run the cut lines underneath the photos necessarily. You can run them beside the photo. And here they've successfully run the cut lines, put the cut lines within the photo. The photos have a very neutral background, so they lend themselves to that. And make sure you credit photos properly. Another, I think, really stunning photo spread. Look how this feels like butterfly. It feels airy and light, like it's subject matter because of all the white space. Because there's actually over here, there's quite a bit of leading in that copy, which airs it out a little more. Add a little white space. Nothing wrong with that. Use a grid. You can see very clearly a 3-column grid going here. This is a 2-page spread. There's a grouping of photos at the top. They're all grouped together. You're going to start seeing a pattern here of that. But when you have modular photos, you want to group them together. Even this grouping of art is, the pieces are adjacent to each other. Now here they spread them out. Now let's go back to the basics, the modular photo spread. We're going to build this photo spread. We're going to look at different options of laying out 4 photos from Folk Fest. Here's the favorite photo. The layout, the page designer likes this photo best. So we've got a horizontal and now we've got a vertical photo. Now, sort of a medium shot of a little girl, the crowd pleaser girl. Always cute little kids always are good for photos. But remember, the photo needs to run large enough so you can see her face, because you know her parents and everyone in her family will buy the paper that day, or go to the website to see her face. And the scene setter, the establishing shot, giving context for the whole event. So let's see the layout options. Number one. Okay, what do you guys think?
I feel like there's not enough symmetry.
I don't feel that.
Okay, not enough symmetry.
Like the grids don't line up as well as they should.
I don't like that that one photo, like in between the two larger photos, is just like shrunk.
This?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the establishing shot. It's pretty small for an establishing shot. You know, all the people are going to be pretty minuscule there. But actually, there is a symmetry here. If you look here, here is the center line of the page, and everything's kind of built around out from that center line. We see white space here, white space here. So we have juxtaposed, we have put white space on either side of the page. Very large, simple headline. Okay, let's keep going, and then we can come back and compare. Okay, let's look at this one. What do you think?
Missing a cut line.
Yeah, they're probably sharing this cut line, breaking the rule that we just talked about, but this cut line probably is applying to that one as well. This page is built more to the original margins. There's not as much white space. Let's see what. Mirror image of the first page with minor changes. The text is 2 legs instead of 1 leg. Remember the first one, the text block was just 1 leg of text. 2 pairs of shared cut lines, and it's very tightly packed. It's built to its edges. There's not much white space. And that's just subjective, white space. Whether you like white space is subjective. Some people appreciate it. Some people look at the page and go, wow, they wasted a lot of space with that. Personally, I like white space. I would prefer the one before this over this one, but there's nothing wrong with either one of them. And look here, you start seeing this pattern here. Look at these gutters, the vertical and horizontal gutters. They're all the same width, vertically, horizontally. They're all built the same width. That's one of the things that makes this really professional. Third version, the headline is an independent art element squarely in the center of the page. The headline, look at the nice alignment. This headline aligns with these photos. 1 leg of text, and there's some open space. Now we have informal balance, right? Asymmetrical balance. The white space is only on one side of the page, but it's at the top and the bottom, so we still feel balance here. Every photo has a cut line. Here we go. Now the text moves to the bottom. This is a pretty drastic shift. The text moves to the bottom corner. There's not enough to fill. Oh my gosh, I don't have enough text to fill the space that I left for it. So what will I do? Well, just inset it a little. Build yourself another margin. So now we've got additional margin on that side of the page. Notice the balance here of the cut lines, one at the top, one at the bottom. And again, those perfect gutters, vertical and horizontal. One thing I want you to notice is that all the photos, every photo is adjacent to another photo or the headline, which in this case is acting as a design, as an image element, and rather than a text element. But all the photo, there's no place where photos are separated by a block of text. They all touch another photo. So this is what I'm going to encourage you to do when you start working on your photo spread, is to follow some of these basic rules to discipline yourself, at least on this first page design that you're doing, and keep all of your photos should be adjacent to another photo. You're going to keep those gutters really clean and consistent. And you see, you know, one size doesn't fit all. There's not just one answer. Again, this isn't math. There's not like, okay, here's the best way to do this. It's very subjective. And there are many ways to accomplish a pleasing photo spread layout that follows all the rules. Here's some other examples of little more alternative layouts that are they're rule busting, but that you can do that. You can break the rules once you know how to break the rules. Here, just a spread of photos. This is a magazine layout, just a spread of photos. Notice there's no gutter between them at all. They're adjacent to each other, which I think works. Look at the contrast in the shots. Contrast in the shots. Medium shot, a little more close up, cutting off his head. Well, that's okay because we've already seen what he looks like. So now we just get the expression, his facial expression from his smile and the other guy's reaction. More of a wide shot. So we have a lot of contrast photos here. Here's one it's a lot. What's the biggest problem with this one? Right off the bat, what do you see as an issue here? The text is trapped. Yeah, so you actually get you get some trapped white space here from the left justified text. It would be better if that white space, if that text block were on the outside, so that the white space would be on the outside.
Right, the pictures don't align?
The pictures don't align, yeah. You know, it's a problem here because the left side is so aligned that it looks kind of like, whoops, somebody messed up instead of intentional. Justin?
The numbers on the pictures seem to not really coordinate with my eyes because I read it 1, then 9, then 7, then 8.
Okay.
And then my eyes just like disregard the rest of them because.
Okay. So the numbers aren't working for you. The flow, the
Right.
organization.
I'm going to comment on how there's not one dominant photo.
Okay, right. There are actually 2, maybe 3 photos competing for dominance here. Okay.
Like captions in general, I have to keep going back to that bottom.
Yes, look, oh my gosh, this is work. Are you kidding me? I have to, this is like I'd rather do a Sudoku, right? I've got to go, number 1. Okay, now I got to go find number 1. And as Justin pointed out, they're not even laid out logically. So we made the reader work way too much in this photo spread. This is a magazine spread, again, not a newspaper.
I like how the photos are lined up. Like, I mean, I don't know if those those three that go down are necessarily part of the above text, but if it is, you know, it's just an easy read at the top, then you look at the photos down there.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the rhinoceros, you know, you just look at that, then you can look down to see what it's talking about, if it's going down like that.
Mm-hmm. There is a grid here. There is a grid going on. You can tell, you can see alignment here, although they break they break out of the grid, like this. Here we have 2 wider columns, 1 smaller column, but we can see symmetry. We can see that they weren't just working in an open space here. They're following the grid. Here we are back to the rotten produce. One of the things that I think works really well here that adds so much contrast is we've got all the rectangles, all the modular shapes, and then we've got this tomato cutout, and it really adds contrast. There is a little trapped white space here. I would do something, try to fill that somehow. But look at the nice gutters, uniform, consistent. And then let me show you some really cool rule benders, which you can start thinking about.